Hello, everyone, and welcome to Heads and Dovetails with myself, Jill Harvey-Bush, and of course, as I always say, the lovely Jamie Hubbard. Jamie, I'm just going to hand straight over to you today. I'm not going to do all the talking. I'm going to hand over to you and let you pick a subject, and off we go.
Good morning, Jill. Morning, everyone. This, the weird thing is, I wanted to talk about this because I don't know. It's one of those things. This might get a little bit dark. It might get a little bit down. So bear with me. But it's
So, a
something we
trigger
need.
warning.
Yeah, we need to talk about a bit more often.
Yep, go
So
on.
I
What are we
sent
talking
Jill.
about? Yeah.
Yeah, I sent Jill a message the other day about obituaries. And the reason I'm thinking about obituaries is because sometimes, and it isn't because anybody died. That's the weird thing. And I'll come to the next bit in a sec. But it wasn't because somebody died. It's because of people's actions. And I I don't know where my head was at. There's a brilliant thing in the American Times. If I find the link, I'll send you the link, and Jill will be able to put it down below
Mhm.
this in the description somewhere.
He
Um,
says confidently for Jill.
of course you will. Of course you will. And it's great. And this woman writes obituaries. And anyhow, my thing was, when you think of somebody and you just think, blimey, you're so selfish or whatever, you're so this, how can you live with yourself? And you have that thought, how can I live with myself? And it wasn't me thinking of me, it was me thinking of somebody else. And I was thinking, crikey, and it was just a stupid fleeting thought. What are your family and friends going to say when they're standing there reading your what's it called, Jill?
Eulogy. The
Thank you.
eulogy.
Reading your eulogy. So and so was a miserable old git, and he was this, that, and the other, and nobody liked him. And we're glad he's gone. I mean, it was just like you can't say that. So, and then I don't know where my head was going. My stupid head was just like, yeah. So, and hang on, isn't it? If nobody's got anything good to say about you, what are you doing? What are
Mm.
you doing with your life that that when you get to the end of it, there's going to be nobody rooting for you, nobody on your side, nobody. So I sent this to Jill, and I then started researching it a bit because I thought, well, I need to know a little bit more about this. And there are some beautiful, and I really like. So I've seen the difference between a eulogy and an obituary.
What is the
And
difference then?
oh, okay, eulogies. Oh, blimey, Jill. I've only
If I put you on the spot now, Jamie.
so the eulogy, obviously at the funeral.
Yeah.
There you go. The obituary in a newspaper and
Yeah.
in
So it's
paper,
it's the written word basically about you.
and the people that write these things are absolutely, the obituaries are absolutely brilliant. You have to
Mm.
just look at a few and find a writer of obituaries. These people take lives and focus on maybe one or two parts, and they twist it, and some of them are really quite lovely. They weren't, and they go. If you go look into the history, some of them are really, really quite dark.
Mm.
100
Can
years ago,
imagine.
but they got better and better. And there are professional people out there that write obituaries, and some of them are beautiful to read. So I'm going through all that, and then I get a phone call on one of the days last week, and take a swallow, take a breath,
Mm.
and somebody who used to work with for I'd known him for 30 something years, and I worked on the next desk to him for 10 years or so, and been abroad with him, worked on boats and whatever. And um, and it just, I don't know whether there's something in the air that was me doing this. But anyhow, I found out about it, and I was just like, and somebody told me, a good friend of mine had told me, and I was just like, oh,
But he's no longer with us.
that he's passed away.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh, so where was he? What did he? So I find him online, and he's running a pub in down south somewhere. And I looked at the hours of the pub hours, and it was 9 till midnight, 7 days a week.
Wow.
And he was. he he was. I mean, I'm not going to say he was a funny so and so because well, he was a funny so and so. If you didn't meet his if you didn't meet his sort of requirements as somebody to get on with,
Hmm.
and what his drive was, a lot was he was a workaholic. He was a
Right.
workaholic. He he only he I remember him coming into the office sometimes, and we'd have a lunch break or whatever, and he'd say, "Come on, you lot, haven't you got work to do?" And some of them were sitting at the computer working. That was their work. But he felt because he was more of a hands-on sort of person, everybody else had got to be a hands-on person. So he was a bit sort of tunnel vision, didn't think outside the box like that. He was a grafter.
But
And he's 60.
but it hit you. 60.
Yeah, 64.
Oh, wow. I mean,
64.
that's young these days.
Yeah, 64 and gone. And and I just thought, because I was going through this write your own obituary thing, because that's what it was. That's what I was
Hmm.
thinking about, and that's where the whole thing came from, Jill, was take a look at yourself, write your own obituary. That's where I was going to go with all of this, which was right. So, well, I'm a miserable so and so. Oh, okay. Well, write your obituary so that they don't stand up and say, well, Jamie was a miserable so and so, wasn't he? Yeah, okay, right, let's get this thing done. See you later. Bye. Drinks round us such and such. You know what I mean? I was thinking, can you? Does it pay to think about your own obituary now, so that you can at least look at yourself and go, blimey, I'm actually not. I, I don't have that many friends. I don't help with this. I'm not really into nature. I am a workaholic. I there's no I've got no friends under over 10 years or 20 years or 30 years. And maybe I do more for others than I do for my family. Maybe I do more for my family, and I'm really quite insular, and I don't go out of that because but I don't think I'm guilty of that, because I teach and I love teaching, I love sharing. And that's where I was going. That's where I was going. And then this guy goes and does that to me. Bless him.
But it's also, I think, then, isn't it? It's looking at it, it melts you. Well, it's a form of self-reflection. It's a way of
Yeah,
doing self-reflection, actually, in that, yeah, who am I? Some people might want to be remembered that they were a workaholic. Some people might. And again, it's
yeah,
about looking at, okay, what do I want to be remembered for? And I know, I think I came back to you and said it is when I would be looking at it, okay, what do I want people? So the eulogy to stand up and say about me, or how do I want to be remembered? Do I
exactly.
want to be remembered for she was really wealthy, she had a flash car, she had plenty of money, she'd made loads of money, she was successful, depending on what your definition of success is. Is that what I want? Or do I want to be remembered as somebody who cared about people, who was loyal, who, was worked in the background, who had fun, who enjoyed her life, and I think again, it's about looking and stopping, which is
Yeah,
in some ways what I do as a coach, is kind of make people stop and go, hang on, what do you really want from life? What do you want to be remembered for when you're on this treadmill and you're saying that you're working too hard and that you actually want a different life? Because so many people will tell me that, but they
yeah.
don't know how to get out of the life that they've got at the moment. Because then it starts getting complicated,
Yes.
or do we complicate it? Let's put it that way. And that then can often then be scary to look at yourself and what you really want, how you want to be remembered, because that impacts on the people around you. I.e., if I don't want to be well, for me, I was lucky. I didn't want to be in a fast corporate life. Clive was quite happy not to have that lifestyle as well, if you know what I mean. So not you, and was quite happy to give up the car, the fancy holidays, and etc. To live the much more simpler life. But if you're caught with somebody who doesn't want that life, then of
Yeah,
course that becomes much more complicated
yeah,
and complex, probably, as to,
yes,
oh, well, if I want to go off and do that and they don't, then does that mean we're getting divorced? What does that mean for the kids? What does that mean for the finance? And then that's just too scary. So people shut it down. But I still think you can, within that, say, what sort of person do I want to be remembered for? And you're saying, do I want to be remembered as a grumpy old man when I come home from work and I have a go at the family? Is that how I want my family to remember me? And often it's good to start at those places,
Yeah,
particularly if the kids are still at home. You've got that opportunity to go, it won't be long and they'll be gone, you know?
yeah,
And how would I want my children, when they look back, to refer to me in that way, or my really good friends? So I think it's a good topic, Jamie, in
yeah,
that it's one way of saying, if I did, and unfortunately a friend of mine has, well, an acquaintance rather than a close friend, has just, died very suddenly, and you don't know. I can't guarantee I've got tomorrow. One of my very good friends, who I have known since I was 18, a couple of years ago, got a phone call from his wife to say he'd died in his sleep. He'd had appointments for the next day and he was going off to play golf and he was, so his diary is busy, but suddenly he's no longer there.
yeah,
So I think it is that without looking out on the dark side, I like to look, as you know, on the more positive side and say, okay, if that did happen, what would I want? Now I'm going to make you laugh. So, well, I better go and clean out my knicker drawer because I don't want people to see the state of some of those. It's on the
yeah,
on the other
yeah.
side, it is a way where you go, well, if that did happen to me tomorrow,
I
what would
know.
really? Would I want people to see the stuff that I'm meant to be getting round to doing? Funnily enough, I was looking through some t-shirts this morning, thought I seem to have about 20 t-shirts I can do painting and willow weaving in now. And
Oh, okay.
about two, only two, that I can wear out. I mean, when I wear out, I mean wear outside. And
Yeah,
you think this is not right. I'm going to have a good sort out of my clothes. But yes, it was always that one thing that my mum used to say is when you look at your underwear, if you're trying to decide if you need new underwear, just think, if I died tomorrow and somebody was sorting through this, would I be quite happy for them to be ditching this or taking it to the charity shop? I know that's a funny way of looking at it, Jamie.
yeah. I mean, my sock drawer, people would love that. People would love my
Oh,
sock drawer.
Clive, same.
Not because they're holes,
No,
because
no.
there no pairs. Well,
No,
there isn't
because you wear
hardly any
odd.
pairs, but there's at least out of the 70 or so, there's at least 10 missing from because they've had a hole or whatever. Yeah, it
It's a
is
good way to reflect on
this
yourself,
it
isn't it?
is, and for me, when I was made redundant, I had the opportunity of staying within the boating world and but moving down south. And I decided that why should one person, and some men would just go, what's wrong with you? Why should one person, the dad, main money earner, why should he have um, the power to move
Mm,
five others from where they live and the area they live in, where their family and friends?
mm,
Why should dad have the power or have the choice to take the family away from all this? And I didn't. That was my reason for not going. That was my reason for and somebody had already said, get a workshop, do what you've always wanted to do. So she put that sort of spark into me that made me think, well, yeah, maybe I could do that. And it hasn't paid. I mean, I'm on a third of what I was earning then.
mm.
So what I could be earning now could be to I don't know 60 or
But
60 50 60 70,000 a year, which to a lot of people that's a good income. That's great.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
I'm still earning a third of what I finished.
But that's what I'm saying. It gets so much more
But
complex.
it's not. It does, but you know what? I think I'm more of a real person now compared
Mm,
to what I was for
mm,
those 25 years building boats. Yes, I can build luxury yachts. Yes, I can build them. I can build them from the scratch. I can
mm,
pattern them. I can take a drawing. I can draw myself. I could make that into a book. I could make that into a mold. I could then take fiberglass off there. I can do every part
mm.
except for engines, electrics, and but every part of the manufacture.
But the plus
But
there is,
I've got a
Lynn.
life now.
Yes, but there's where the complex bit is that I was just saying earlier. It's a good job you had a partner who was happy for you to take that pay cut. Well, you're saying,
Oh, I'm not sure
why
about
would
that.
I? No, but you know what I mean. Whereas you were
Yeah,
saying, why should I have the right to uproot the family, or one person have the right to uproot the family and take them? Well, it might be because the other, your partner, actually says, no, 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 no. I'm more than happy to do that, than have the other life. So
Yeah.
than you to stop
Yeah.
working and open up a workshop. What? No, I want, no, we'll move. That's what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, Jamie, that sometimes if you haven't got the partner that goes along with what you want as
Yes.
well, that's where it becomes complex.
Right. Well, the sad thing here, Jill, is we discussed it, but it wasn't a sit down sort of discussion. It was just
No.
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And I think because it was easier for Lynn and the girls to just carry on doing what they're doing, and
Mm.
then this what am I, 20%, 15%, yeah, 15% of the family, the main money earner, but um I'm doing the thing that's different. I'm
Mm.
trying to earn this. So I've had the struggle
Mm.
on more or less on my own, but everybody else has been able to carry on through their schooling, through
Yeah.
everything else without, yeah, I mean, the bumps in the road are the house doesn't look very good, the cars aren't as good, but
No, well,
crikey,
that
the
takes you
life I've
back to the
had in the
obituary.
exactly the life I've had in the last 13 years is so much more than the previous 30. In the last 13 to the last 30, I've had more of a life. Well,
But as I say, if
that's
we
it.
link back to the obituary where we
Yeah,
started, that's about saying, am I going to stand up for your eulogy? Or if I was writing it as an obituary, am I going to put down, he didn't have a very nice house and his car was a bit old and tatty?
nobody
Or
cares.
would I actually say, Jamie lived the life he loved?
There you go.
All right, Jamie lived the life that he loved. It didn't matter that his house was a bit tatty or he
No,
drove an older car because Jamie had the life that he loved along with his family. There was no stress, no, extra aggro, and he got to do things that he really enjoyed. So it's a different tone. Do you see how I put a different tone? I've mentioned,
yeah, yeah.
okay, his house wasn't as immaculate as yours or mine might be, or whatever. But I think do you want in your obituary? Oh, he had a beautiful house. He always had a new car. He always looked immaculate, but actually he
They
was
don't
very
say
busy
that.
working. No, people
No,
don't say that.
nobody. When I was researching the obituaries, and I found this wonderful writer where the link is going to be down below. When I found her piece, it was never about. They never in an obituary never put possessions. You never put wealth. You never put possessions. You never do this. It's always about the person, the personality,
Hmm.
people they leave behind, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, and money, all of that doesn't come into it. And yet, we in this day and age, I've just had a new car. I've just bought this. We're just going to so and so. We're just doing,
Yeah.
and I know somebody who is just one thing after another, after another, after another, and then where does it stop? And going back to my history, my dad had so much, and it was too much.
Yeah.
And then gone at 41, it
Yeah.
was too much, and it was chasing the wrong thing.
I think as
And
well, the difference this day is we see all this stuff that people have. What we don't see is the debt and the credit cards
yeah,
that they've
yeah,
got behind that. I'm, if you like, fortunate that I get to speak to clients who look, to the all intent purposes, live in the southeast, look incredibly wealthy, got this, got that, go on holidays to Dubai and the Maldives and cruises. And I know that they are 20, 30, 40,000 pounds in debt. I know that every time that they remortgage, they try and clear a bit of their debt onto their mortgage. So actually, they're never paying off their mortgage, Jamie, because as the house is going up, so the
oh,
debt to that house is also going up, if that makes sense. So I do think then how's that ever going
yeah,
to work out, particularly when interest rates
yeah,
suddenly change? I mean, you and I, and particularly me, as I say, I'm older than you, I've been around the block enough times to have seen I don't know how many crashes in
yeah,
terms of, right, we're back into negative equity. And
yeah.
today's generation, I don't think, because when was the last one? Is it 2008? No, I think it was
2008.
actually, I think it was the 90s when you went into negative equity.
I don't know. I think sometimes,
And probably the
yes. I mean,
time,
proper negative
but
equity. Yes,
yes.
over the last 40 years. Yeah, the
Yes,
nineties was
the
a
90s, I
house
had
prices.
friends, correct. I had
Yeah,
friends who had mortgages
yeah,
because they had 90% mortgages and 95% mortgages on their properties, then suddenly, bang, it went into negative equity. So they
Yeah,
were struggling. One of them would lose a job. They couldn't sell the house because if they sold the house, there wasn't enough money to pay off the
that's
mortgage.
it. That's
And they
it. And that would take years.
got themselves in such a pickle. Yeah, some of them still haven't got out of that pickle.
Yeah.
You
So,
know, it's because then the debt got to such a point that they had to sell the house pretty quick when they could to pay off the debt that they'd actually racked up over those few years. So I think this is, it's from really, we've gone from an obituary to looking at your own life
yeah,
and how do you want to be remembered? And maybe that's as we get older as well. I mean, let's be honest, when I was 20, yes, I was cabin crew, I was traveling the world, and yes, I wanted the flash cars, and I remember Magnum and, his Ferrari on Magnum and Tom Selleck. Yeah, I wanted one of those, and I wanted the house, and for all those reasons that are wrong. I mean, I remember I had a client a few years ago, young guy, multimillionaire, but he was being flash with it, the gold bracelets, the flash car, the this, the that, and therefore attracting all the wrong people. And I did a series of coaching with him, which made him go, yeah, but I like traveling. You're saying I shouldn't travel first class or business class. And I said, no, it's the reason behind it. I do that because I want to have the comfort. I'm not walking on board going, oh, I'm turning left because I want to boast to everybody else. I'm not doing it for that. So it's okay to have those things, but if you really like them, rather than look at me, to make people, jealous of you, if you like. And what was really interesting is he said, no, you're right, I have been doing it for that. And he'd been very unhappy. And he did change over a period of time. And it's lovely. Every now and then he calls me
oh,
now and
good.
we have a catch up, and the Lamborghini got traded and he drives around in a Golf. He still likes his, you know, flash cars, if you like, all the supercars, but he drives it because he wants to, not to
Yeah,
impress anybody else. And
yeah,
for me, there's a huge difference. My son would love to have something like that, but he is not flashy and he wouldn't want it to show off because, as people say, you see a flash car. Do people see you or do they see the car? Actually, they see the car.
yeah.
They don't see the person in it.
No.
They don't look at that person and think, oh, they must be really wealthy and successful. And they're thinking about the car. So, yeah, it comes down to values. But as you get older, for me, things have definitely changed. I'm not the person that I was in my 20s. As you know, I live a much more simpler
Yeah.
life now. And that's actually what's important to me is being out in
And
nature and
it's lovely, isn't it?
oh, it's so
You
much
don't,
better. The
the thing is
stress release is unbelievable over the
we
last
don't
20 years.
realize
No.
what at that age. And the thing is, I mean, if you think of different, say you think of tribes in Africa, they had elders that they would go to for
Hmm.
the wise old man, whatever, would know because they'd seen it and they'd seen where as we said, the youngsters spending all the
Hmm.
money or being flash or whatever. No, it's self-reflection. Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, but without being too depressing, there are times when you're getting older that you kind of, which never occurred to me when I was watching the news or anything like that years ago. Now, when they say things about, oh, we're going to be net zero in 2050. Oh, but, China has agreed to be, I don't know, in 2070. I never used to think about it. Now I start to think, well, hang on, 2070, I'm not going to be here. You suddenly start going, hang on a minute, they're talking about 2050 or 2060.
Oh,
I might
oh,
not be
Jill.
here then, so
Oh,
you kind of go. And actually, we're in 2025, and that's when you kind of realize your timeline, without being depressing, is very short. And when you go 25 years ago, that doesn't seem like anything. That's when I left corporate life. Oh my God, 25 years and
I
that
know,
time.
I
And for
know.
me, again, that's about so enjoy your life now. It
Yes,
goes so, I know every older person will tell you, it goes so flipping fast.
it just keeps
Anyway,
going, doesn't it? It just keeps
oh
ticking
yeah,
on, and but
but
it feels like
enjoy every
somebody's
day.
yeah, it feels like somebody's making it a little bit quicker every day, and it isn't. It's just not making the most of things. One
Well, if
quick
you look
last
at,
thing.
okay, but
Go
just to
on.
pick you up on that, if you look at it proportionally in your life, when you're one, a year is 100% of your life.
Yes.
All right. When you're 60, 70, 80, a year is a very small percentage of your life, which is why it feels like a year goes quicker. There you go. There's my theory. Because actually, a year is a much smaller percentage of your whole
Of
life.
course it is, yes.
So
So
that's why it goes quicker.
on my Instagram feed, because we've now
Hmm.
got uh, Chloe's pregnant and we've got the little grandson who's 9 months old, I think, or somewhere like that. My Instagram feed is full of baby stuff. And this one came on yesterday, and it was just like, right, if your baby is born now in 20, I can't do the maths quick enough. He will be 21 in 2046. And I'm
Yeah.
like, 2046? Hang on a sec, do the maths. Yeah, 2046 in 21 years time. And I'm thinking, crikey, I'll be 80. I'll be 80. And I was just like, oh, okay, well that's not too bad. That's similar to my mom, really, with my kids.
Well, my
But then
husband
it's
would be over 100.
yeah. But then the other thing is, oh, I've got something else to add. I know we've only got a few minutes, but something else. But the other thing was, and he'll be 50 at this time, and he'll be such a. And I was thinking, hang on, that's going over into 2020, no, 21 something. And I just thought, no, I said, no, no, I definitely won't be around. I was going to say something, then I've forgotten it. Oh, what was it?
Well, just as
Oh,
a sum up to me, I think it all comes down to as well, when you look at life, it's about not fearing death. So, and that's
yes.
about that makes you appreciate now, the here and now for me. The only thing that I think I'm sad about is because I'm so nosy and I want to know what's going on in everybody's lives, I'm not going to see the end of their story. But would I want to live to the end of everybody's story that I know?
No,
No,
no, no. Would you want to be able to live till
no.
300 years and
And be
see
the
the
only
end of
one,
everyone?
be the only one
No.
left. No,
What a nightmare.
exactly.
Right, I've made a change. So let's finish on a bit of a positive.
Yeah, go on then. I thought
We've been
that
doing
was a
these
positive.
we've been doing these podcasts for a long while now, haven't we? It's got to be a couple of years, is it?
Yeah, I think we're up to episode 68 now. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
a good couple of years. Yeah.
and over those, a sort of underlying theme has been mortality, and it's always there, isn't it? Because it is.
Mhm. Well, it is when
Um,
you get older. I think it is when you tip over a certain age,
yeah.
you suddenly start going, oh my God.
So I've changed my mindset again, Jill. You'll be pleased
Good.
to know. Right. I had decided, and it's only happened over the last week, I had decided that I'm happy to live till 93. I've changed
Right.
my mind. I've
Right.
pushed it further, and I've
Right.
pushed it to somewhere where I thought, actually, that sounds all right. And then I've realized there's a Disney connection here. I've, I actually want to live till I'm 113,
There you go.
113, and then I can go. Because when people say they want to live to 100, how many people don't make it to 101?
Well, room 101. On the other
Yeah,
side, my mother-in-law, my lovely mother-in-law, Muriel, never wanted to be 100. I don't want to be 100. I don't want to be 100. And she was nearly 103 when
there
she
you go.
died. So, but as she said, I'm happy. And I think I take her philosophy is I'll be happy to go when she said, I know all my
Exactly.
family are happy, all my grandchildren are grown up, they're all happy and married, and everybody is content, and she said in a nice way, I'm no longer required. There aren't going to be, I mean,
Yes,
obviously my husband got divorced and there are hiccups as life goes on. But she said, everybody's okay. It's okay for me now. I feel quite happy to be able to back out of everybody's story because you're all, I know you now, you're all settled and happy. And I thought, what a lovely way
that's it.
to look at it,
So,
you know?
my theory is I don't need to live till 113. I just don't want to go on day one of being just over 100 years old. You know what I mean? Well, he made it to 100 and then he died.
We'll do a podcast. No, I'm a lot older than you. That's going to make me about God knows how old.
Oh,
No,
God.
no, absolutely. It's all
Well,
about mindset. Enjoy
it
your
is.
life. You never know when your train stop is coming up, is the way I
That's
look
it.
at it. So, and when you're being told, time to get off the train, this is your, as
I
they
like
call it,
that.
your,
I like the train journey one. I've
Yeah.
seen it a few
Yeah, I've
times.
sent it to you, didn't I? I think it's a
Yeah,
great
it's
one.
very good. It's
Yeah, it
very good.
is. It's a lovely one. Okay, there we go. We're about half an hour. So you have a good week, or good couple of weeks. We can talk about it this next time. Moving house. I'm not moving house. I'm having to move my sister from one flat to another. And the saga nightmare, there's got to be an easy way for us to do this in the UK. So that's what I'll be doing next week. I'm having to drive up to Surrey, pack up my whole sister's flat in one day. And move her the next. But she's going to be elsewhere while we're doing it. So deep joy,
Awesome.
Jamie. I'll be leaving here about 4 o'clock in the morning on Thursday next week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well, it'll be, yeah.
Right.
Okay. You take care. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope it hasn't been too dark an episode for you and that we've been able to shed a bit of light and it's made you think about how you want to spend your life and actually how do I want people to remember me? And can I start making little tweaks now that I end up becoming that person before it's too late? And on that note, Jamie, I'll wish you goodbye. Well, not goodbye, but not that sort
A
of
bien-
goodbye.
a bientôt?
A bientôt, yes, or
There you go.
salut, as they say in French. Salut means, see ya type thing.
Right.
So
See you
have a
next
good
time.
couple of weeks. Okay, take care,
Bye.
everyone. Bye.